Yo, what is the dealio, man? Listen, in this video, I have a banger for you. All right? You already know I got a banger for you, man. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how I hit FedEx today for 17%. Um, it was a quick trade, about 15, 20 minutes or so. But what I really want to drive home is the strategy, but also I want to dive into this real quick, right? I want you to understand that you can use the stock market for whatever you want to do. All right. Now, here's what I mean by that. If you want to be a full-time professional day trader, then by all means do it. If you want to just be able to make $500, right, in a week, then do it, right? If you want to pay your car off with trading profits, then do it, right? You can commit however much time you want to commit to trading to make the money that you want to make. You ain't got to go be a multi-gajillionaire. You ain't got to go make $300,000. If you just want to make $10,000 and pay for your child care, then go do it, right? Now, to me, it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't want to maximize the opportunity, but I want you to understand that you can use trading in the stock market for whatever you want. So I was in and out today of the market. I had to go do something, right? But I just wanted to talk about that, right? Before we get into the trade of the day, because there's this misconception that everybody who trades is a multi-billionaire, right? That's not the case. That is the furthest thing from the truth, right? The truth is you have the top 2 to 3%, okay, who trade, that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, millions of dollars a month. And then you have, the 20% who are making good money. And then you have the majority of people that are, you have another small group of people that are making, 40K a year extra in the stock market off of options. And then you got the majority of the people that are losing money, okay? So you got to understand, if you're profitable, let's say you're making $30 a day, that's still good, because most people are losing $100 a day. You see what I'm saying? So just understand how it all works out. You feel me? I really want you to understand, man. If you don't have to try to be a multimillionaire from day one when you're trading. You could say, okay, my first goal is to pay off my phone bill from trading profits, because that's gonna let me know how possible this is, right? And then you can say, okay, I want to pay off my car note this month. However you want to do it, all right? But you got to take steps to get where you want to go, all right? You have to take the steps to get where you want to go. And then as you start to increase your confidence and your self-belief, then you could be like, you know what? I really, really want to take this to the next level, all right? But in the beginning, you're going to have to learn. You're going to lose some money. You're going to make some money. You're going to break even. And then you're going to get to that next level, and then you're going to be making money, all right? So with that being said, man, we got FedEx, all right? I hit FedEx for 17% today, all right? Like I say, it was not a super long trade, but I saw the setup, and I took the setup, all right? I got Uber as well, but it's the same strategy too. So I'll show you guys both of those and how that works out. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the charts, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what it was. All right. This strategy, it was the 15-minute orb strategy. All right. So let's check this out real quick. Okay. Now, so we got FedEx right here. All right. And we are on the 15-minute time frame. All right. So look at FedEx. Okay. So first off, it gapped down. Okay. So we gapped down, and then we're right here. Right. So when it gapped down, we were holding this level right here. Right. Came up in pre-market. Boom, boom. We came down. We bounced off. Boom. Right. So what ended up happening was I saw it pushing up. All right. Now I saw it push up above the orb, right? So this was 45 minutes into the market. So I said, perfect, okay? Perfect. This is an orb on a 15-minute. And then I saw it closed above that 50 EMA too. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a solid, smooth trade. All right. So I let it close right here. And then I wanted to see if this stock was gonna come down and test this level right here first. Okay, and it didn't. I was hoping that it tested right here so I could get a better entry, but it didn't. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. That's the thing about trading. You got to use your own judgment, okay? So what I did was I ended up taking an entry right here, okay? I saw it come down. I thought it was going to come down lower. It didn't. It popped up, and then I took my entry right here, all right? So I took an entry about right there. All right. And I'm going to put in entry. Okay. Entry and calls. All right. So I entered a call option right here. All right. Right there in that candle. So we had some room to go. So I entered in right here and we writing it up. Now here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The thing about this trade was the spreads, when I entered in the trade, the spreads were fine. They were like 8 cents. When I was in the trade, the spreads were like 35 cents. So I was like, all right. Whenever I get into a trade and the spreads widen, I don't like being in the trade, right? Unless it's a swing trade. If I'm in like a day trade or a scalp, I don't like that. All right, so we go back to the charts. All right, so we go back to the charts, and I'm in here, and it goes up. So up here, I'm probably up like 18% or so. All right, and then it comes back down. Candle closes, it goes up. All right, around here, so I'm up about 22%. I was happy with that profit. Okay. Like I say, I wasn't trying to be in here all day. I was just trying to scalp something real quick. All right, I saw the setup. So then it came back down, all the way back down here. And at this point, because the spreads were wide, it was showing I was down like 5%, something like that. But I knew what the setup was. I knew where it can go. So because the spreads were wide, I didn't like how it was moving. I said, okay, if it goes back up, and I get back where I was at, I'm gonna take profits. Boom. Started pumping up again, broke that high, and then it came up here. And at this point, I was up about 24%, 23, 24%. Now, I sold my contracts at a limit order, and I sold at the mid price, okay? You have bid, you have mid, and you have ask. I sold at the mid price, okay? When I saw about 23, 24%, I sold there. Now, it did not fill at that price point, okay? Stocks go like this. So I went back in, and I went into my Webull at that point, and I had to modify my order. I had to sell at a little bit of a lower price point, and then it filled, and it was 17%, all right? And I was able to leave and go about my day and do what I had to do. All right. But it was that simple. Now, if I had more time and I wanted to be in something a little bit longer, I would have stayed in because I knew that we was going to be coming up to here, right? At least, because there's no resistance right there, right? So we was going to come up to here. So if it was a day trade, I would have stayed in longer. But as you can see, you could have caught the same exact move to the downside. Right? Literally the same exact moves. Change the character right here. Ran up, boom. And we still have some room to go to the upside whenever FedEx does feel like it's ready to fill the rest of that gap right there, as we can see. Okay? So this strategy, it was a 15-minute orb, quick 17%. I ain't mad at it. All right? You can never go broke taking profits. Always remember that. You up 20%, take profits, right? If you get in a trade and you do end up being up 80%, 100%, that's perfectly fine. But always remember, if you are up and you do take profits, don't be mad at yourself. All right? You could have always made more money and you could have always lost more money. Please remember that. Okay? Now, the other trade that I took was Uber. Okay, same exact thing, but this was to the downside. Okay, I saw I saw some weakness. So first off, Uber's been consolidated. I mean, it's been blasting off, right? For the past 2 days. On Monday, it blasted off, gapped up, right? Blasted off again. Okay, and then it consolidated the rest of the day. And look, it consolidated all day today, literally, right? Consolidation all day. And then we had a move to the downside, and this move to the downside, it closed, right? It closed below this orb right here, okay? So what did I do? I took this orb right here, okay? So I entered in this position. It was this on the 15-minute candle. It was after this green candle right here, okay? So I entered in that middle red candle right there, all right? So I entered in that candle right here, okay? Right here. And then this, so the thing about this trade is it took forever, all right? The volume was real low. And so I ended up getting out. I got out at a profit, but I got out because the volume was low. I don't like the price action that is struggling to go into a direction, right? So I saw this and I was like, right? It wasn't like, sometimes you got to ask yourself, is this trade worth my time? Even if you're in profit, is it worth my time? Because you could get in certain plays that move faster and make you more money faster, all right? So this had low volume right here. So that was my entry. We was below the orb right here, so we was in good shape. All right, my first target was literally this level right here, and I chose this level because I saw it on, was it the hourly, right? The 21 EMA at the time was right there. Okay, so that was my target. Okay, and literally it came down there and it bounced off of it, right? So because it was moving so slow, I ended up getting out a little bit earlier. I got out around right here, okay? And I took my exit. That was like, it was like 9-10%, something like that, okay? And this is like an intraday move, right? Because it was like it was in the middle of the day, right? But so like in the market, you have the first hour and a half is like the most volume, and then that middle of the day right there, you have the middle to the end of the middle of the day is super low volume, and then things start to pick up, right? As you can see right now, Uber is bouncing off of here and it's going to the upside. So we may see Uber blast off today, right? Because if volume picks up, then the moves are going to be stronger, right? And they're going to have more momentum. So got out of there, boom, I was done, okay? So that's 2 trades. That's the same strategy, the orb strategy, right? And here's the thing, y'all, okay? Here's the thing. Sometimes the orb strategy is going to bring you 30%. Sometimes it could reverse on you, right? You could get into the orb, follow everything, and it could reverse on you. And then sometimes it may only be a 3% trade because it's not going lower, right? But that strategy, it keeps you safe because it gives you those boundaries, all right? So FedEx, Uber, right? Over 20% return on my money. I grew my account today, and it's simple as that, all right? Keep focusing on growing your account every single day, right? Stop focusing on trying to hit a home run in one day and grow your account by 100%, right? Just keep growing consistently, and you're gonna be good, all right? So I appreciate your time. Like I always say, make sure you get up out of your head and go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live, all right? And also remember, the more you study, the less you worry, all right? I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. Peace.